got monsters coming out on Halloween. Spooky people wearing their costumes and running all over town. They're saying, give me some candy, or I'll destroy your house. Ha ha! Scary, scary Halloween. People dressing up like goofy goblins.
Ooh, you can feel the chill in the air. The leaves are all decaying. The cat is prowling in the moonlight. There is a faint hum coming from the lamppost above you. Ladies, gentlemen, and those who do not wish to be in that category, welcome. Ghouls, ghosts, frights, specters, and phantoms abound in this Halloween special of the Video Game Choo Choo podcast. I am your Crypt Keeper, John Machonsky, and with me this week is my assistant, Ryan.
Hi, John. Before we get things kicked off, I do have a question for you, really quickly, Mr. Crypt Keeper, sir. I know you're
Ask away.
I know you're my boss and everything, but
yes.
when you were listing all those various creatures of the night, I noticed that you forgot to include both goblins and gremlins. Do you have anything to say about this oversight?
I just kind of wanted to wrap it up.
Fair enough.
I do not mean anything against goblins or gremlins. They are welcome here in my crypt.
It's good to know. It's good to know your crypt is inclusive of all creatures, beginning with the letter G, you know. Goblins, ghosts, gremlins, ghouls, grouches, geese, gazpacho. It's a pretty wide range.
Even gardeners are welcome here.
Yeah, it's good.
And you would think that they're not frightening, but guess what? Gardeners have, like, axes and shit.
Yeah,
it's
they've
quite
got those.
frightening.
They've got those weird things that are like trimmers, but they have the really, really long handles, but then really tiny blades at the top. Like, what's the deal with that? What the heck are those?
Are for?
What are those for?
Those are for killing.
Oh, jeez.
I need to stop doing the voice.
Yeah, Mr. Crypt Keeper. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm the intern here. I'm gonna have to go get the Crypt Keeper a nice chai latte to clear his throat.
A lozenge. Might need it for a lozenge.
Yeah, some cough drops,
goodness.
some nice Halls pumpkin spice.
Yeah, you know, 'tis the season and all
Absolutely.
that. Yes, we are here on this very frightful occasion.
Ooh.
This episode should be coming out right around Halloween.
Yeah.
So, feel free to download it and listen to it while you're walking around at night.
Yeah.
Hopefully safely.
Yes.
But be careful for all the creatures of the night that may be prowling.
Yeah, just get some of those big bicycle reflectors and just stick them on your ass. That'll be good.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, that is how you stay safe during Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just us two. Everyone else, I mean, it's almost Halloween weekend, so everyone's got stuff going on.
Yeah.
I know. Michael's at Disney this weekend,
fucker.
Specifically. Yeah, so I mean, he's probably gonna be there for like the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween stuff. Right?
Yeah, my mom and my sister are actually out there right now too for that. So fun fact, I guess they'll be out there together separately, which is kind of weird to think about, but you know.
They might even be on the same ride. Now that's a scary thought.
That is scary, yeah.
I definitely want to talk to you about Halloween because you seem to revel in this time of year.
Yeah, I don't have a picture of it or anything, but the bathtub in my bathroom is just filled with a bunch of candy corn, and every night I just submerge myself in it while listening to, like, Oingo Boingo and, like, Monster Mash, and that's sort of my daily ritual around this time of year. So I don't get very clean because you can't really run water over candied corn because it just kind of turns into like this sugary mess. So, I haven't bathed in 27 days, but I am very very in the mood for the season, if you will.
Absolutely, completely rancid, just like most monsters,
Oh yeah. Like when you have
taking on a Swamp Thing attire right now.
Yeah, Swamp Thing's a good comparison because I feel like every monster might smell a little bit differently. Because Swamp Thing, he would obviously smell like mud and like maybe
swamp.
Yeah, like swamp and maybe like a little bit of like kush mixed in there too. I mean, you never know. Dracula
he's got that kind of.
Yeah, Dracula, on the other hand, probably smells like a really nice candle that you'd get from, like, Hallmark or something. Like that nice, like kind of oaky smell, like maybe like some flowery kind of scents in there.
Definitely.
The Invisible Man, he's kind of like a sociopath, but he's also really classy. So I think he'd smell more like a fine cologne.
Absolutely,
but then
yes.
The Mummy... Now, the Mummy would just smell like ass because everybody wipes their ass on him since he's made of toilet paper.
It's true, yeah. I mean, and he's already got his own turds on there, and like
it's
the
just
scarabs.
No good.
Scarabs too. Oh my god, yeah. The Mummy's like a fucker.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go
Take his
to a
ass.
costume party with him.
No, absolutely not.
No.
So Ryan, I did specifically want to talk to you about something that went down a couple nights ago now.
Yes.
That you participated in. I'm very excited to hear about this. So please inform the listeners how the past couple of weeks have been going and how it all culminated.
Yeah, well, the last couple of weeks, I have been practicing to be the human element of a bobbing for apples competition. I have learned how to contort my body into the shape of a large tin bathtub so I can be filled with water and apples. And this last Wednesday we had the university Halloween party, and people bobbed for apples out of the clavicles on my shoulder. Like, they're deep enough that they just put some apples down in there and people kind of stuck their face. And I'm not proud of being a human apple bobbing exhibition, but it's work, and at this point I'll take any work I can get, John.
Do you want to stop fooling around right now, and do you want to actually talk about real life, or am I going to have to come to Texas and steal your life away? As
John,
a good crypt keeper would.
Yeah. If you were a real crypt keeper, you'd be on like the next horse out of Florida, like coming over here to kick my ass with like a scythe or something. But no. In all seriousness, I was earlier this month, as in at the very beginning of the month, I was cast in the university production of Rocky Horror Picture Show, and what this was not a stage production of the original musical, but it was a shadow cast for the film, which, for those of you who are not familiar with Rocky Horror, is when you screen the film. Usually you do the UK version because it has superheroes at the end. But what you do is you have a cast of people who stand in front of the screen while the movie is playing and act out the movie as it goes, and then you have people in the audience like yelling like callbacks at the film, which are normally pretty obscene and like really sexual. And almost every year we do this, I feel like the higher ups at the university threaten that it'll be the last year we do it because it's always like so risque. But I was cast as Eddie, which, for those of you who are not familiar, is Meatloaf's part, who ironically is actually also from Texas. But I got to get up there in my leather jacket and boots and lip sync to Hot Patootie Bless My Soul while doing a dance number. And it's a lot of fun. I don't know if I've ever mentioned it on the podcast before, but before I came to university, I did theater for 8 years of my life, and I dropped out of theater. Well, not dropped out, but just kind of ceased doing it when I came to the university because I really had gotten, kind of tired of the whole shebang, I guess. Like, you do that, like, all the time for 8 years, and it just kind of grinds down on you, I guess. But I still like performing. I still like, making a spectacle of myself in front of people, which is why I choose to continue to appear on this podcast every week. But it's a lot of fun to just get up there and perform, to dance, to lip sync to the music, to just really go crazy, I suppose. And people at the university love it. Like, we would get standing ovations because our performance was on Wednesday night, the 26th, and people went nuts in the audience, like, clapping, like yelling obscenities at the screen, like going like, oh, whenever anything, risque would happen, which it often did. There's the scene in that film when Frankenfurter, the Tim Curry character, sneaks into Brad and Janet's bedroom and basically fucks them. But our guy who was playing Brad, when we were in dress rehearsal, the advisor for the company that puts it on, which is Campus Events Entertainment, was like, okay, don't do anything like too explicit. Like, you can't pretend to like give Brad like a blowjob or whatever. And we were like, okay, yeah, whatever. And so, of course, before the show actually started on Wednesday, the guy playing Brad made like a 10-inch dick out of tinfoil before they went on stage, and the guy who played Frank like pretended to suck it, and people went fucking nuts in the audience. Like, it was so funny. But then afterwards, they were like, "Yeah, y'all set the bar for being like risque, so future Rocky performances cannot get any worse than this." So we're like, great. I'm glad we've like set a precedent here. But it's a lot of fun. I don't know if you've ever seen Rocky performed in a theater, John, like live with like a cast or anything.
Not yet. I want to someday, because I've seen the movie and it is a lot of fun. But of course, it can't. Of course, it would never match actually seeing like a shadow play.
Yeah, and when you see that outside of like a university setting, it's generally a lot more like obscene. Like when I see it at the local theater here, they have like dildos they throw around, and people will like flash the audience sometimes, but not usually, but it does happen. Yeah. So like that's like a whole thing. But here at the university, we had to be kind of professional about it, and so it ended up. Yeah. So it ended up being a lot more of like a performance-based thing, I suppose, because most people when they see Rocky, and I won't talk about this for too much longer, but most people when you see Rocky at like a theater, these are people who have done the Shadowcast like hundreds of times, like they've seen the movie like more times than you can count, and it gets to a point where it's just kind of like casually showing up, and it's like, yeah, we do this shit every week, but here at the university we do it like once a year, and it's like a big deal. Like we always pack out the auditorium, and people want like pictures with us afterwards, and it's really fun. And it does make me miss performing in like theater and on the stage and stuff like that, but at the same time, being in college like I am, I can't possibly imagine balancing consistent rehearsals like that with the kind of schoolwork I have to do, and doing stuff for the site and having a social life and all that kind of stuff. So, it's a lot of fun. That's why I've been kind of like in and out like on the site this last month, because I've been busy with that. But now that that's over, I can kind of hang out with y'all and be on the podcast a little bit more consistently, I think. But yeah,
sure.
That's pretty much been my last month. If you are out there listening to this and you have never seen Rocky Horror, you should check it out. Maybe I love that movie. So
okay, thanks so much for that. We know that you were busy.
Yes.
But did you get any games in at all?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I did get at least one game in.
Okay.
Earlier this week on the site, I posted a sort of write-up, sort of opinion piece kind of thing on the first 4 acts of the game Kentucky Route Zero, which is really good. That's more or less my opinion in 2 words. Really good. I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't want to spoil, too much of anything, because that game is very much something that works better when you go into it not really knowing what to expect, I guess. I had only heard from some people that was a good game, and I was given a code from it when someone, I think maybe it was you, bought a Humble Bundle, and I had it in my Steam inventory for a little while. I think right around when the 4th act came out, which was actually on my birthday, July 20th. But so I finally, had some time to play it, and that game's really fantastic. I know you, John, are trying to stay away from it because of you're wanting to play it when the last act comes out, when the whole thing's a complete package.
Yeah, for me, I just kind of want to have it all together because I know for a fact it's going to be argued for a Game of the Year thing.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
I want to have it as fresh as possible in my mind so I can really give it the fair shake.
Yeah,
but,
I understand.
Yeah, I still I know you really liked it, and Mike Casamano, he brings it up all the time as one of his favorite game experiences ever, even though it's not done yet. So
It's very well written, first of all, which, is important considering it's a narrative-based game. It is a point-and-click game that also, at times, feels like a deconstruction of the genre of point-and-click games. I mentioned it in my review, or not my review, excuse me, because it's not a review, because we won't have a review until the last part comes out, but in my think piece, I suppose, that there are a lot of moments in that game where you expect it to kind of follow a certain path based on your expectations of sort of the point-and-click genre. Like, for example, you'll come up into a scene and you'll be like, oh, okay, so this is the scene, this is what I have to work with here, I can click here, here, and here, whatever. But then, as you start moving, the camera will turn and reveal you to be in this huge, three-dimensional space instead of this initial kind of 2D shadow box that you think you were in at the beginning, and I think there's something really interesting about that. But the game looks great. It's very beautiful in the way that it sort of both exemplifies and surpasses a lot of the, I guess, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, those stereotypes about minimalist, indie graphics where, you see, pixel stick figures and you're like, oh, this is kind of disgusting, I don't like the way this looks, it's played out. Yeah. But the way Kentucky Route Zero handles it is that the aesthetic is such a consistent presence throughout the game, and it's so unified and well handled that it comes across as being a product of a creative choice instead of a budgetary limitation, which I think is very well handled. What else can I say about this game? I'll give you the log line for it in case there's anybody out there who doesn't know what this game's about. You start the game as a delivery man for an antique store, and you are trying to get somewhere that can only be accessed by a mysterious highway called the Zero, and you are in Kentucky, thus Kentucky Route Zero. But the thing is that this delivery starts kind of taking a backseat to the characters in the game. You start out kind of as a solitary, one man against the world, but then you start gradually accumulating people into your posse, I suppose. And, backstories unfold, relationships form, and it's just really compelling in how it's written, and it maintains this very interesting sense of mystery without being too ambiguous or intentionally frustrating, I guess. Because sometimes when you play games or watch movies or read books that are trying to ape off that kind of David Lynch, ethereal, borderline surreal mystery kind of stuff, they come across as frustrating because there's just nothing to them, I suppose. They're too ethereal and they're too ambiguous, but Kentucky Route Zero does a really fantastic job in the first 4 acts at least, of maintaining a solid foot in reality while also dangling these kinds of subjective threads in front of you, so you stay interested in what is happening in the narrative while still kind of carrying this sense of unreality, I suppose. But anyway, I don't want to go on for too long about it, but I haven't really, played much else. But I guess the point is that it's a very good game. I highly recommend it. the acts have taken quite some time to come out. I think the first two came out in like 2013, and there's basically a year gap between all the other ones. So it might be a while before the last act comes out. Cardboard Computer, who are the creators of the game, have said on their website that the next one will be out, quote, throughout the next year. So I guess by the end of 2017 we will have the final bit of Kentucky Road Zero, which I'm really excited for. I can see why you'd want to wait until all 5 of them came out, but I don't know. My curiosity just sort of overwhelmed me, I suppose, and I ended up playing them, and I was hooked. So that's more or less my basic thoughts. I have the editorial up on the site that goes a little bit more in depth to what's happening with all that. So, if it sounds like your kind of thing, check it out maybe. That's more or less the only game I've really had much time to play recently. I feel like I may have touched on... Oh yeah, I played the Duke Nukem 20th Anniversary Remaster. Yeah, which by the time this comes out, we will have streamed on the site, so, if you came out to that, thank you. That is basically Duke Nukem 3D, but the graphics are a little bit better, and the gameplay is actually a little bit better, too. So, despite the fact that does not have any of the DLC or, like, the expansion packs, it doesn't have, like, Nuclear Winter or, the one in DC or, like, Life's a Beach. It is a very solid... Like, not even joking, it is a very solid remaster of the original Duke Nukem 3D, and if you're a fan of that game, I would recommend it, especially since Megaton Edition has disappeared off online storefronts. So, that's more or less been my last couple weeks. I may have a couple other stories. I will say that last night I went out and got buffalo wings, and I got drunk, and I stole a Texas Chainsaw Massacre poster from a event that was happening near my apartment. So, really wild and crazy stuff happening in my life over the last week. So, that's...
Jeez.
So what happened was, I might as well tell this story since it's the Halloween episode and this is a horror film, is that there's a local chain of theaters, which I've mentioned before on the podcast, called the Alamo Drafthouse. And every now and then they will do something called the Rolling Road Show, which is where they will set up a screen somewhere in Austin or the surrounding area and show a movie. And I know in the past they've done one for Jaws, where they will go out on a lake in the area and, like, show Jaws on a floating screen on a lake with, like, people in inner tubes, which is really cool. But
that's wild.
Yeah, they had one on Wednesday, which I couldn't attend because, I had the Rocky performance that was here in West Campus that was benefiting, like, the co-op housing around here. That was the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like, in West Campus. And, the guy that made Chainsaw, Toby Hooper, is a graduate of the University of Texas, so, it's very appropriate. But, I was walking by and I saw they had it set up. It's, like, literally a block from my apartment, and I was like, damn, I wish I could go to that. And on my way to Rocky, I noticed they had, those, like, vinyl banners that you can get for, like, events where they're like, those really tough material, like, screen printed on there with, like, the holes in them to, like, zip tie up to stuff. Well, they had some of those out there, and I took a picture of one, I sent it to some people, I was like, I can't believe I'm missing this, whatever. So, we go out to Rocky, we do the show, we go out and get buffalo wings, and I have a cocktail that's apple cider mixed with Fireball whiskey that was really good. But I hadn't really eaten much, and so it hit me kind of hard. And on my way back, this was like at 1:30 in the morning, I saw that the park where they had the chainsaw showing was, like, empty. Like, they had cleared everything out of it, except all their banners were still up for it. And so, me being drunk at 1:30 a.m., I was like, hey, you know what? If no one's gonna take these banners, I might have a new decoration for my living room. And so I went to my apartment, dropped off my stuff, got a pair of scissors, went out in the dark at like 1:30 a.m. to where they had shown this movie, cut down one of the banners, rolled it up, and just walked it back to my apartment. And now it's just sitting here in my room, rolled up in a tube because it's 6 feet long and like 3 feet wide, and I have no idea where the hell I'm going to put it. So yeah, I won't. Yeah, I mean, hey, it's kind of cool. It's got like a silhouette of like Leatherface on it, and it's like Chainsaw Massacre in West Campus, and it's like, oh hey, my pop culture damaged mind has found a way to like associate Texas Chainsaw Massacre with my college experience. And, I want to like hold on to this thing, but anyway, that's basically been my whole week. I don't have much else to talk about other than everything I have just spilled out onto the table before you here today, John. So I guess I will pass the baton off to the only other person in this podcast this week, which is you. So,
well, thank you.
Yeah. What have you been up to?
Thinking. I haven't really been doing too much as usual. I don't know. I just, been hanging out at home.
Sure.
I had a friend come over yesterday, so that was kind of nice. Played some Smash Bros.
That's always good.
I'm really rusty, so he beat me a couple of times.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've played any of those games actually. So when the new one first came out, we played it a bunch, but I haven't touched it since then. So
yeah, I should probably practice a little bit, so I will once again be undefeatable.
Hell yeah!
I need to train my Mewtwo. No, other than that, I've mostly just been playing Ni no Kuni. I did a bunch of grinding in that today, so I'm kind of blowing through bosses and stuff. That's kind of fun. I love doing that, just getting a little too strong.
Yeah, too strong.
I remember when I played Earthbound,
I
was trying to get the Sword of Kings, which is an item that only drops from one specific type of enemy in the game. And it's like a 1 in, 80-something chance that it'll drop. I don't remember exactly how much it was. Or it might even be way more than that. It's something really stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, so I sat there and tried to get that item for, a day.
Jesus.
And, yeah, okay, see, it's a 1 out of 128 drop.
Oh my
from
god.
Starman Super.
Yeah.
So I sat there and I ground. I don't know. I did some grinding.
I don't know. Yeah.
I did some grinding, and I did it for so long that eventually I was talking about it on Twitter, just being like, "Yeah, still looking for it," and people started going, by now you've actually gotten so strong that even if you got the Sword of Kings, it's like you've basically leveled up enough to equate to that. So just, you're good. I was like, alright. And I beat that game real easy. I would run into pretty much anything, and I would just kill it. And I was like, alright, that's kind of fun. I don't know.
Yeah, I understand.
It was for dumb reasons, but at the same time, I still just kind of had... It was a very interesting way to finish that game, let's say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excuse me, but I didn't go that far in Ni no Kuni, but I was definitely like, I want to make sure that I can buy all these items, so I fought a bunch of enemies and got a bunch of money, and now I beat the boss because I was a little over-leveled, but whatever. That game's still fun.
Hey, there's no shame in being too powerful.
Absolutely not. Be strong.
Yeah.
Be strong. I don't know, I can't really think of anything else that I've been playing that much recently. I mean, Overwatch, yeah. I don't think I've actually talked about this. Mike and Will, both ex-Chooch folk, they actually pitched together and bought me a copy of Overwatch, so now I have to play Overwatch with them whenever they want. And it's fun sometimes, but geez Louise, they get real serious sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, I was playing last night, and there was some hooting and hollering, I'll tell you that much. Oh my god, Will was ready to kill someone. Scott plays with us sometimes too, and everyone's pissed. It gets frightening. I just kind of, everyone's just, yelling at each other, but I'll just be, not off to the side, but I'll just be doing my own thing, just killing people as D.Va, and I'm just I'm getting a bunch of kills, so I'm helping.
Yeah, I am.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I need to get on and play with you all at some point, but I haven't renewed my PS Plus subscription since it went down a couple months ago, so I haven't really been playing Overwatch that much, but I saw some of the Halloween update stuff and it looked really cool, so...
It's ending soon, so you're gonna have to get in there real quick.
I wish I could, but I don't have the money to spend on PS Plus. So...
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'll live.
Mm-hmm. Alright, well, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Just yelling at Overwatch and grinding
Sure.
Ni no Kuni. So,
Nice.
nothing new.
No.
So let's move on to the news.
Oh, baby.
Let's just switch back and forth a bit because there was a lot of news, so we're each going to do a couple.
Yes.
But
yeah.
So why don't you go ahead and go first, Ryan?
All right. The first tab I have open over here is Kingdom Hearts.
Yes.
Woo! Pew, 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 pew. Okay, so as many of you listening to this podcast probably know, there are Kingdom Hearts 1.5 remixes, or like final mix, or whatever they're called. I don't know. The 1.5 mix has the original Kingdom Hearts, Chain of Memories, and does it have anything else on it, or is that it? I think it only has those two, right?
It has Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, which is the first game but with like some extras.
Yeah.
It has Chain of Memories, which is
like the PS2 remake, yeah.
Yeah, and then it has the cutscenes from the DS game, which I don't remember what that one's called.
Days. It's 358/2 days, I think.
That's
is what
right.
It's called.
Okay, and then there's 2.5.
2.5, which has the two final mix, Birth by Sleep, and the cutscenes from Recoded. Now, what Square Enix is doing here, which they announced at Paris Games Week, is that they are collecting both the 1.5 and 2.5 remixes, which are 4 games and 2 games told through cutscenes, into a single disc, which will be released on PS4. I think this is just called Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 plus 2.5 Remix.
Sure.
Yeah, it's coming to PS4 on March 28th, 2017, which is 2 months after that Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 final chapter prologue, whatever, that whole mess. But, I don't know. I think that's really cool. I know my roommate has the original 1.5 and 2.5 remixes on PS3, but I am such a sucker for that game series. I will absolutely buy this collection for PS4. Like, I have played the original 2 Kingdom Hearts games more times than I think I would care to admit on this podcast, but, I don't know. I think that's kind of cool. If for some reason you've never gotten into the series and you want to, and you know you're going to like them, then maybe just pick that up, because it's only going to be like $50 for like all 4 of those games plus the cutscenes. And I mean, both of the main Kingdom Hearts games, I think, are like good games. Like, John, you've played the first one, right?
I haven't finished it.
But you've played at least a little bit.
I've played a good portion of it. It's pretty good. I want to play 2, so I'm gonna wait for this PS4 version because I want to play 2 and Birth by Sleep really bad.
Yeah. I've never played Birth by Sleep, but
from what I heard, Birth by Sleep is what I want out of it, which is like a character action game. So
yeah, I've played a little bit of it, and it's very character actiony, but I played Chain of Memories when it came out in the Game Boy Advance, and I loved that game, but I never finished the PS2 remake. But anyway, the point is, Kingdom Hearts 1.5, 2.5, coming out on a single disc for your playing pleasure on March 28th, 2017. Get your fill of spiky-haired anime boys interacting with various Disney characters, and also Sephiroth is there for some reason, too. So, that's the Kingdom Hearts news. So, John, I'm gonna ping-pong this ball off to you, and you can tee off on your first news story of the week. All
right, I'll start off with something else that's coming out So right now, you can go on your PS4 system. Again, more PS4 news. You can go on your PS4 system and download King of Fighters 94, which is a very good Neo Geo SNK fighting game.
Yeah.
And this is the first in a series of classic Neo Geo SNK games that are being ported to PS4 by Hamster.
Hamster.
Now, if you pay close attention to the PS4 games listings, or if you just listen to the Bombcast, because Jeff Gersman likes these games a lot, you'll remember Hamster are the people that put out those arcade classics games, which are just, like, really good ports of arcade games, like just Pac-Man, Galaga, stuff like that. Like, you know, Double Dragon, the kind of stuff that you would get in an arcade collection. They're a little pricey, but they seem to be very good ports. Now, these kinds of games seem to be what you would want out of, like, a high-end port. You know, like, good fighting games, classic, like, high-end Neo Geo SNK games. So, King of Fighters is the first game that's being released. Like I said, it is already out. As you hear this, you can pick it up. Hamster is promising that by the end of the year, they will also have Metal Slug, The First Samurai Showdown, Alpha Mission 2, Fatal Fury, and World Heroes, all on PS4.
Cool.
And early next year, they will also have Nam 1975 and Neo Turf Masters.
Hell yes.
Yeah. So I'm pretty excited for a good portion of those. You know, I want to get Sam Show. I definitely want to get Neo Turf Masters. But you know, there are some good games, and if this continues, hopefully they will continue to port more SNK games to the PS4.
That'd be cool.
The one thing that I'm a little upset though is that it doesn't seem like this has online capabilities. Which the funny thing is that all these Neo Geo games are happening, but a new version of a new version of Garou Mark of the Wolves got announced that
I remember
has
that.
online, and that's supposed to be out by the end of the year. So I hope this doesn't interfere with that release, because I really, really want to play Garou online. And it's a bummer that I can't play KOF or Samurai Showdown online, but I don't know.
That's kind of bizarre that they decided not to do that, but I don't know.
It's probably really expensive, but
that's true.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like maybe they were kind of like testing the waters with some of their other releases, because they put out The Last Blade 2 on PS4 with online, and you know, maybe that didn't sell so great, and maybe they already had a contract for Garou, so they're just, or maybe that got canceled and we just don't know it yet. Who knows? I'm really hoping that at the very least Garou gets put out, because that's one of my favorite fighting games. And
you're definitely more of a fighting game expert than I am. But I know of like both of those games, like Garou and King of Fighters. So maybe those will pick up traction with people who aren't really like, or didn't used to like super be in the fighting games. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they're not super well known, but I know of them, and I'm like considering getting them, even though I suck at playing fighting games. So,
I feel like KOF is at least a name on people's minds just because of the newest, just because 14 just came out.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really good first game to put out. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'm hoping that SNK just continue. Like, I hope that these games help fund more SNK games in the future, because they're back. They're saying that they're working on games again. Like, the rumor is that they're going to do a Samurai Showdown next, which that would be really cool, because Samurai Showdown's awesome. But we'll see how it goes. Ryan, it's your turn.
Yeah. Oh, hey, John. I guess it's time to do some more news. So the next item on my itinerary right here has to do with the game Evolve. So, a while back, I mean, y'all may know Evolve as the game where what you have to play, like, people and you shoot aliens and you're trying to, like, survive, right? That's what that game's about. Like every other first-person shooter.
I don't fucking know. It's about Monster.
Yeah, I know there are monsters involved, but a while back, Evolve was rebranded on PC as Evolve Stage 2, which was a free-to-play... Yeah, a free-to-play release of Evolve. Apparently, the player count rose to, like, 1 million after they did that, which is kind of cool, but now, on the 25th, which was this last Tuesday, Turtle Rock Studios, who are the creators of Evolve, have stated that they will stop supporting the game. So I suppose that means that they will stop updating the game, stop rolling out content for it, all that kind of stuff, which I think is interesting, but not particularly surprising, considering that I think they're just pretty much done with that game. They said that they wanted to take the free-to-play Stage 2 on the consoles, but they have abandoned that. They said that, even though they're ceasing this, it's not goodbye, and they have more stuff in the works. So, yeah, I mean, I suppose that Evolve will still be available on Steam and such as Stage 2 free-to-play, but it's basically done updating from here on out. John, you may know this, was Turtle Rock the same studio that made the original Left 4 Dead?
Yes.
Yeah, because they mentioned that in their press release, saying that, quote, it's always hard to leave one of our games behind. Left 4 Dead was no different, and now it's Evolve's turn. So for those of you who play Evolve, I don't really know much about it, obviously, but I've heard things about it since it became free-to-play. I mean, it's not, like I said, this doesn't surprise me that they've stopped supporting it, considering that it was such a mess just for them to even get it to free-to-play like they did. But, I don't know. I'll be interested to see what Turtle Rock does after this in the future, but I think it's safe to say that we probably will not be seeing Evolve to Evolve a Boogaloo, or Evolve Harder, or The Evolve Strikes Back, or any other such nonsense.
The Evolve.
Yeah, The Evolve, like E12, but the O is like a 2, so, yeah. That's the Turtle Rock news, I guess.
Thank you, Ryan.
Of course, John.
Very, very informative.
Yes, I try my best.
I'm being mean. So, our next little bit of news is an update on the Nintendo Switch.
Ooh.
Now, this isn't 100% confirmed, but it seems to be accurate because it's coming from a reliable source. Eurogamer, who had previously reported on a lot of things that turned out to be true about the Switch, has come out and said that yes, the Switch will have a touchscreen. They say that it has a 6-inch, 720-pixel resolution. That is just a little. It's to differentiate itself from the Wii U and the 3DS.
Sure.
It'll be a little bit different. They specifically said that it will have multi-touch, which is different than from what the Wii U or the 3DS has. Like, for example, on like a DS, 3DS, etc., there is only one place you can touch at a time. So you're just tapping something to activate it. You're dragging something. Yeah. But on a smartphone, you can use multiple fingers to maybe press multiple buttons or to spread your fingers and zoom in. Yeah. Supposedly the Switch will have a screen much like a smartphone.
Interesting.
Eurogamer claims that they didn't want this that Nintendo didn't want to talk about this immediately because they didn't want to confuse people and make it think that it was just going to be another Wii U or 3DS sort of thing. Yeah. They wanted it to look completely different so everyone would be more excited, which was a good call. Now, for those of you who are perhaps confused as to how the Switch will use touch capabilities while it's in the dock, Eurogamer claims that the right Joy-Con, the one that you would hold in your right hand, has an IR sensor, much like a Wii remote would have. So if you need to aim at something or, just anything of that sort, you can just use that controller and aim it at the screen and use it basically like a Wiimote.
Interesting. I'll be interested to see how that turns out. I mean, you see this stuff, I almost called it the NX again, but you see this stuff coming out for, like, the Switch that's, the big-name Nintendo brands like Zelda and such, and I wonder how, or if this rumor is true, how they would sort of incorporate this touch functionality into games like that, or not incorporate it, as it were. So, I think that'll be... I mean, it'll be interesting to see, first of all, if this rumor is even true, but after that, I'll be looking forward to seeing what they do with like, the touch stuff, I suppose. So.
Absolutely. So, why don't we move on to your next bit of news?
Yeah. Alright, so this one's a bit of a doozy. A while back, last Thursday, I believe, not this Thursday as the 27th, but the Thursday before the 20th, a union, I suppose, of voice actors and video game companies went on strike with the acting guild SAG-AFTRA, which is part of the Screen Actors Guild. They started picketing this last week. They picketed outside the Electronic Arts offices and how is this pronounced? Playa Vista, California? Playa Vista?
I wouldn't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, anyway,
I'm sorry.
This news comes to us from friend and owner of the site, Mike Casamano. So thank you, Mike. But
he was actually on the line, on the picket line, reporting from the scene. So kudos to you, Mike, for actually covering that and not just posting bullshit.
Yeah. So the after like an hour after they started picketing, the collective of the video game companies and the production houses negotiated, but from what I understand, they didn't really come to anything as of yet. To quote Mike's article on the negotiation at the beginning, the SAG-AFTRA is looking for, quote, guaranteed stunt coordinators at motion capture sessions, hazard pay and shorter shifts for intense recording sessions, information about the project once the voice actor has been booked, and a choice between higher upfront payments or post-release royalties based on sales. So what we have here is essentially, like with most union strikes, sort of a demand for just generally better and safer working conditions, I suppose. Like, guaranteed stunt coordinators, like, that honestly kind of surprises me that video game recordings don't have stunt coordinators sometimes, I suppose, because if you were making, like, an action film and you did not have a stunt coordinator in Hollywood, that would be, like, awful. Like, I don't think you could get away with that kind of thing. Hazard pay and shorter shifts for intense recording sessions, that's kind of a thing for, like, voice acting. If you're gonna, like, do something that's really going to, like, stretch your voice, and, having done stuff in theater and, like, having done, like, radio and podcasts and stuff, I understand how that can go occasionally. Information about the project once the voice actor has been booked, that seems like something that should be happening already, honestly. Like, I would not want to be booked for a project and then get in there and find out it's, like, I don't know, like, fucking Political Simulator 2016
Racist Man's
Racist Man.
Game 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no, it's the sequel. Something that Mike brought up, he actually brought this up during the deliberations, that sometimes voice actors will figure out what they're voice acting in, or they do learn ahead of time, and because they want to get, they want to spread the word about what they do, and get better get better jobs and all that, being like, hey, I'm in a big game, they'll put it on their LinkedIn almost immediately. And that is how a lot of games get leaked, because someone will put it up on their site.
Yeah.
So that is a problem, but in some of the deliberations, like, people have brought up, like, hey, maybe just at the very least tell them, like, a code name and give them an idea of how big this project is, so they can be like, I am in this I am doing a very large project right now. That is the kind of thing that I am worth. Yeah. So, there needs to be compromises, and unions would help that get figured out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's stuff about actors either the SAG-AFTRA strikers. They want the people who work on games, specifically voice actors, I believe, to be able to choose between, quote, a secondary payment for each 2 million units sold or unique subscribers, up to a total of 4 secondary payments, or prepayments of contingent compensation, in which case no residuals shall be due, which basically means that they will either be able to choose between being paid as, like, getting extra compensation as the game sells more units, or what I understand to be a prepayment based on what the companies think the game will perform as, or just as like a sort of secondary compensation, which I think in terms of the residuals, I think that's something you see a lot in the film industry too. Like, actors will either, like, take, like, an upfront payment or, like, work out a contract to get residual payments. And, sometimes that works out and the film makes a ton of money, and sometimes, it doesn't. But either way, you're guaranteed, like, a share of the profits.
Sure.
So, more or less, to kind of, I guess, parse this out, is this seems to be a strike for stuff in the video game industry that has been present in other industries, like the film industry, for quite some time at this point.
Yeah.
And I think this strike is more sort of emblematic than anything about how the video game industry is still growing. Like, just because, we have, like, games coming out selling millions of units, that doesn't mean that the industry itself has reached the same point as a lot of more, I suppose, professional industries, I guess, or, like, industries that have been more well established. So I'll be interested to see what happens with all this. I know Mike on his article kind of took stuff from both sides, and they claim that the proposal didn't give the companies enough time. They did too close when they made the proposals and stuff like that. They say that they should have put the proposal to a vote instead of just going on strike. So there's a lot of gray areas in this whole thing. It's not just like black and white striking kind of stuff, but I personally would tend to side with the workers' union on this one. Because as someone who is looking for a career in sort of like industries like this, I would want to be sure that people, have that kind of guaranteed safety and stuff like that. So that's basically the SAG-AFTRA strike over the last week. In a nutshell, there's a lot more to it than that, but I think that's about as basic as I can kind of lay it out without spending half an hour on it. But
sure, yeah. Just if you want more information, just go. It's on Destructoid. Just check out Mike's article. It's a very, very good, very in-depth article. He did a really good job covering that. So go check it out and give him some props. Go tweet at him, say, Mike, I love you. Do good. Thank you.
So, John, do you want to finish off the news segment with our last story?
I got one last chunk of news. And
hell yeah. Campbell's Chunky News.
Folks, you know what time it is.
Oh, I know what time it is.
It's the Pokemon News Watch. Pokemon News Update. It's time for another Pokemon News Update.
Yes. I'm here for it.
Alright,
we're all here for it.
We finally have official confirmation. Not just leaks. We got the real deal art of the Pokemon starter final evolutions.
They're finally here. evolving for you. If you
They're
know
the
the
three
starters, you can join in too.
They're the 3 members of the starter crew.
Yeah.
So first up, I hope I'm not mispronouncing this because it's like Deciduous. So it's Decidui. It is Rowlet's final evolved form. It is a grass ghost Pokemon.
Hell yes, I love it. I love it so much.
So it's this big ass owl
Mm-hmm.
with a hoodie, and it uses a bow and arrow.
Yeah, I love my ghost owl son so much. My God.
Yeah, so it has a move. I don't remember what the move is called, but it has a move that specifically it like nails its opponent down so it can't switch out.
Yeah,
which is pretty scary.
With this like leaf feather arrow thing that he's got.
Yeah. There is Incineroar, which is the fully evolved form of Litten, which is Fire Dark.
Hell yes.
Yeah, it's
My
not
God.
firefighting.
Yeah. I was so happy that the wrestling cat was not firefighting. I cannot express enough.
Yeah, it is very specifically a wrestling themed Pokemon. It is known as the Heal Pokemon, like Heel.
Oh my God.
And its
That's
special
so
move,
good.
its special move is a Lariat.
Yeah, I know. I remember seeing all those memes where it's like the fire. They like put like firefighting on the Pokemon, the cat Pokemon, and I'm like, yeah, all y'all can suck it because it's Fire Dark. So
Yeah, it's like I said,
cool
its
stuff.
special move is called Darkest Lariat, and it ignores all status effects and any stat changes. So if someone like raised their defense a whole bunch, who fucking cares? Darkest Lariat just beat that shit.
yeah,
And finally, the last starter is Primarina, which is the fully evolved form of Poplio. It is Water Fairy, and it's a beautiful mermaid Pokemon.
yeah. It's very glamorous and ethereal.
Yeah, and its special attack, which is really weird, but its special attack cures any burns that its opponent may have. So, I mean, actually, now that I think about it, that might be useful in very specific cases where if an opponent has a held item that gets stronger if it has a status effect.
Yeah, and also it'd be good in like competitive Pokemon if you were in a 2 Pokemon battle. Yeah, I assume you could use it on the second Pokemon that you have
That is true.
out on the field. So
That is true.
yeah.
So they also confirmed a couple of other Pokemon. Tapu Bulu. If you recall, there was another Tapu Pokemon that was a guardian of one of the islands. They revealed the other 3 Tapus. Tapu Bulu is grass and fairy. Tapu Lele is psychic fairy, and Tapu Fini is a water fairy. And so each of them just guard one of the islands, and they each have a Z move called the Guardian of Alola that basically it summons what looks like the Yellow Devil from Mega Man, and then the Tapu like puts itself on its head, like where its head would be, and then the trainer just takes their hand and just smashes it into their palm, and then the Guardian just like obliterates the other Pokemon, like just slams its fist down. It's the most violent thing I've ever seen in a Pokemon game, and it's so good.
Yeah.
They also showed off a Alolan Persian, which we know already from the leaks.
It's so good.
It looks like
Alolan
Garfield
Persian.
or Heathcliff.
Yeah, that's why I was telling my friend, like, I said, God, I can't wait to have a Alolan Persian on my team, and he was like, no, fuck off, like, it's horrible, it's like a round, like, bee-sting motherfucker. And I said, listen, it has never been more appropriate in my entire life to name a Pokemon Garfy Baby than it has now. I'm so fucking excited to get a Persian and name it Garfy Baby. I can't
Garfy
even
Baby.
express. Yeah.
The last Pokemon they showed off is called Cosmog.
Yes, I
which
love it.
Is this cute little, it's like a cloud. It seems to have something to do with the, I don't remember its name, but the mascot legendary for
the
Moon.
The moon bat, yeah.
Yeah, because it has like very similar colorings and like spikes and stuff.
Yeah, my friend said he thought that maybe this would be like the first legendary that has like evolved stages. So
maybe. It says that it lives inside of Lily's bag. If you recall, Lily is the professor's assistant who kind of looks like the jellyfish Ultra Beast.
Yes.
So who knows how that'll all tie together. But there's that. The last little bit of Pokemon stuff, though, is they are also introducing something called the Battle Tree, which seems to be something that you do after you. I'm not sure if this is something that's replacing the Elite Four or the Pokemon League, because they show that they're like still building the Pokemon League in this game. So I don't know how that's going on. But in this game, the Battle Tree, you get to team up with and battle against famous Pokemon trainers from other games. Yeah. Like, they specifically showed Cynthia from Diamond and Pearl and Wally from Ruby and Sapphire.
I was watching it, and I was like, oh, there's, like, Cynthia, like, people are gonna go, like, nuts for that. And then they showed Wally, and I was like, oh my god, like, holy shit, like, fuck, now I have to play this game. Like, my god.
And not only that, but they also showed Red and Blue, as in the main character from Pokemon Red and Blue and your rival from Red and Blue.
Yeah.
And they're just kind of hanging out, and I guess you can fight them or team up with them. It's pretty nuts that they're just like, you know, bringing back all this classic stuff and, you know, making references to... I mean, of course they're going to make more references to Red and Blue. Like, this is... They are really leaning in on the Gen 1 nostalgia with, like, Pokemon Go and all that stuff, but...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I don't know, I really like the, I really like the redesigns that they did of, Red and Blue here, like, I'm, like, 90% of the time when people are like, oh, it reminds me of JoJo, I'm like, whatever, but Red does kind of look like Jotaro, and it's really funny.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm really, really excited for Sun and Moon. So
Me too.
I'm happy that there are still surprises, like that there's still stuff to show after that leak.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's hopefully. I mean, if it lives up to the hype, then it's going to be a very good game. I think
definitely. Ryan, would you like to read some questions?
I would like to read some questions, John. We have a lot of questions today.
Yeah, because it's time for Halloween questions, baby. Yeah.
Play a little spooky, scary skeletons in the background while I talk about the Ask stuff. So, if you want to submit questions to us here at the podcast, you can send them to videogamechuchu.tumblr.com/ask. Or you can email them to podcast@videogamechuchu.com. And as Michael would say, you'll probably sound a little bit like this. Loco Rolo said to Video Game Chuchu, with the Nintendo Switch announced, do you think the console's quote gimmick, will be easily understood to the mass market? I think the Wii U had a lot of trouble getting its features/abilities across to its audience, and some devs even. Well, I think... Or do you have something that you want to go ahead and say, John?
I was just going to say it's pretty self-explanatory. It's just being able to take it where you can go. And I think the Joy-Cons are so similar to the Wii remotes, and so many people have interacted with the Wii remotes, that I think it's going to make perfect sense to everybody, you know?
Yeah, I think it'll be okay. I think part of this is not so much a thing with the Switch as it was a problem with the Wii U. I think the problem with the Wii U that everybody tends to cite is that the Wii U had a lot of, like, tiny features built into it, and the fact that it was branded as, like, a Wii was confusing to a lot of people. But with the Nintendo Switch, its features are, like, visible. Like, you know what you're getting with this. Like, you see in the video, like, them, like, taking it apart and, like, switching the function and all that kind of stuff. And with the name, I think that... You know, maybe there'll be some people who are still confused about it, but I think it'll come across much more clearly than the Wii U stuff ever did. And I agree with what you say about, like, the Wii Remote, John. So, hopefully that'll be okay. So, yeah, Anonymous says to Video Game Choo-Choo, what do you think Wario and Waluigi smell like, respectively?
Garlic.
Yeah, Wario's definitely garlic.
I think they both smell like garlic because they don't. They're together. Always.
Yeah. Does Waluigi indulge though? Does he partake?
I think he definitely eats some garlic. I mean, if you're around Wario enough, you gotta chow down on some of his favorite food, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Wario just, like, eats, like, straight garlic, but I think Waluigi likes to, like, shake it up a bit. Like, Wario would eat, like, just, like, a clove, but Waluigi would go and get, like, buffalo wings with, like, a dry rub, like, garlic parmesan on it. Like, I've always felt like Waluigi is a little classier than Wario, and so... I'm sure Waluigi would have, like, a hint of garlic to him, maybe a touch, but I don't think that would be overpowering. I'd like to think Waluigi smells like blueberries.
I think he probably smells like sweat, too, because of all the sports that he plays. Like, he's always out there, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I look at him, and maybe it's just, like, his color scheme, but I'm like, yeah, that's like a blueberry. So
maybe. I mean, like Wario probably smells like dusty because he's always in like caverns and stuff and tombs looking for treasure.
Yeah.
So he probably smells a little dusty too, but you know.
That's true. So if anyone out there is in like works for like a candle making company, then we just pitched you your 2017 Wario Waluigi scent collection, so you're welcome. Anonymous says to Video Game Choo Choo, people always treat Deadly Premonition and Illbleed as funny games, but I found them very scary in the viscerally unpleasant atmospheres they both possess. Are these games scary, or is it just me? Do you have an answer for this, John? Because I definitely do.
I mean, I haven't really interacted with Illbleed, but there are definitely some very, like, I wouldn't say like very frightening, but there are bits of Deadly Premonition where I was like, this is a little creepy, you know?
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's such a silly game, and there's so many bits where I'm just, like, laughing my ass off. But sometimes that music gets to you. Sometimes it's so... Like, I wouldn't say I was scared, but I was definitely disconcerted at times when I played that game. Like, I was like, oh, I don't like where this is going at all. Like, this is, ooh, you know? It's not like a fright. It's more of like a chill up your spine kind of thing.
I definitely agree. I think Deadly Premonition, and you know, people say that it's like based on Twin Peaks all the time, but that's because it is. It's very much based on Twin Peaks, and the thing about that game is that it absolutely nails the atmosphere of that TV series, which is like that very awkward and kind of like funny, like eccentric vibe, but also with these moments that are like kind of creepy. Like they're a little bit like, you know, like they creep up on you. And so I wouldn't say that Deadly Premonition has a viscerally unpleasant atmosphere, because I think it's too eccentric and too like intentionally awkward to be too scary. But I will agree that Illbleed makes me uncomfortable on, like, a strange kind of level. That game is eccentric, but it's more scary than Deadly Premonition is, in my opinion. Like, Deadly Premonition has that kind of, like, winking at the camera, like, Twin Peaks kind of awkwardness. But Illbleed is very much, like, you're unsure, like, what in that game is supposed to be a joke and what's being like played straight, and that makes it really uncomfortable. And even without that game does have moments that are like genuinely uncomfortable. Like there's a part where a guy gets his brain taken out and like put into like a wooden mannequin. There's like you die in like horrible ways in that game. And there's stuff that's very eccentric, like there's like the cake from hell, which is like this cake with legs that like talks to you, but at the same time it's kind of creepy because it's like, I don't know, there's just something about Illbleed that really straddles that line between like funny eccentric and like scary eccentric, and I think more so for me than Deadly Premonition does. So I would agree with this Anon on Illbleed, but I don't really know about Deadly Premonition. Yeah. Anonymous asked to Video Game Choo Choo, which Silent Hill monster is the hottest, and don't say the nurses or Pyramid Head.
Well, you just took the two monsters that I'm familiar with from Silent Hill off of that list, so I can't really answer that, I'm sorry.
Pyramid Head's a fucking beefcake, and then, you know, the nurses are the nurses. I was actually going to say this just based on the name of the monster alone. The Abstract Daddy from Silent Hill 2.
God.
Which is actually the really fucked up monster where it's like this mound of flesh that's like two people melded together like on like a bed frame that like walks around and is really fucked up. But anyway,
I mean it's a bed, so it's like welcoming you to do a sex.
That monster is literally supposed to be like two people fucking who are like flesh melded together on like this rectangle. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Those games are I mean, it's fucking Silent Hill. Like, come on, everybody.
It's Silent Hill.
Yeah. Anonymous asks to Video Game Choo Choo, what memories do you associate with Halloween? Well, I remember pretty much every Halloween costume I've ever worn in my entire life. Some more so than others. A few off the top of my head. When I was very young, probably like 5 years old, I went as Anakin Skywalker from Phantom Menace, and I had like that kind of like tan Tatooine outfit he wears. But we also made a pod racing helmet out of a baseball helmet or like a bicycle helmet or something. And I still have the pictures of it around here somewhere. One year I went as a serial killer, which I got a trench coat and glued boxes of cereal to it and put like plastic knives through them. One year I went as a fucking Bionicle. I think I've talked about this on the podcast before, but one year I went as the Count from Sesame Street. I had like a headpiece that was like the head and like the ears and all that, and that was really fantastic. I don't know. Halloween is always just very much, I think of like when I was younger and when I would go trick-or-treating, like passing out candy to kids too, because I did that my senior year of high school. I dressed up as Jack Torrance from The Shining and gave out candy to children. But I don't know. Like, when I think of Halloween, it's very much sort of an amalgamation, I guess is how that's pronounced, of just that general seasonal feeling, like the candy, the costumes, the movies, just like all that. And, it's fantastic. I have more vivid memories of Halloween than I do probably of any other holiday, except for maybe certain Christmas gifts. So, I don't know. I love Halloween.
Sure.
What about you, John?
I don't have any, like, really crazy Halloween memories, just because usually I'm, ever since I became a teen, I've mostly just been hanging out at home, passing candy out, or I've been at a party. I do have a Star Wars-themed costume that I remember pretty vividly. That was when I dressed up as Jango Fett, which I'm sure everyone did.
Yeah. When I was in second grade, I also dressed up as Jango Fett. So
I'm pretty sure we both did. I do recall some of my more embarrassing Halloween costumes that were really half-assed, because I was at a point where I was like, I should get a costume together instead of just going out and buying one.
Yeah.
So I did like some like closet costumes, and they were horrible.
Some what costumes?
Some closet costumes.
Closet. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why I dragged that out like that. So I was just like, well, I'm going to go to the Walgreens, and I'm going to buy a cane, and I'm going to get an oversized coat, and I'm going to dress a little nice, and now I'm Dr. House. I don't know why I was Dr. House one year. I was in like middle school, so look, that's how cool I was.
It's pretty neat.
I was dressing up as a fucking USA Network, like fucking, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, people liked House. It's a popular show.
I'm not saying they didn't. I'm just saying, man, fucking middle schooler, like, oh my god. Yeah. I remember one time I just wore sunglasses and like, at night, mind you.
Yeah.
And a really bad jacket, and like I had like a fake gun, and I was like, I guess I'm Albert Wesker. How's it going, everybody?
God.
Resident Evil.
That's
and I
fantastic.
looked like shit. That was
That's
fucking
so good.
Like, just thinking about that was embarrassing.
Oh, I love it.
But I don't know. One day I'm gonna do like a really good Wesker cosplay just to like offset that. Not because I'm like really like super into Wesker, but just because
you just have to like
like
redeem yourself.
Yeah, I feel like I need to be like completely on model, like just show up and be like total global saturation, and like just kill it. You know, I don't know.
Please do.
I don't know. I've had some embarrassing Halloweens, but you know, I think we all do.
I think we all have, yeah. So, speaking of Wesker, Anonymous said to Video Game Choo Choo, how do you feel about the Resident Evil 7 trailers channeling Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibes? It's appropriate.
I feel like my answer is going to be a little different than yours. Maybe you should go first.
Yeah, so I've watched these trailers when they first came out, so it's been a little while. But I remember that gameplay trailer where whoever you're playing as like goes up to the house, and it's like this kind of abandoned, like country-looking house with like the bits of like corpse parts like hanging out front, and then you get like knocked out, and you're in like the fucking dining room, and it's literally like Chainsaw Massacre, when you've got like the old dude who looks dead but isn't on like one side, like literally. I don't know if you've ever seen Chainsaw Massacre, John, but that movie ends with the final girl in the dining room of this house with like them trying to feed her human flesh, and like they're all like yelling and hooting and hollering, and she's like screaming her head off, and they're like laughing, and it's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
But it's basically how the exact same way that gameplay trailer ended. What I'm assuming is the most recent one. I think they've released some other stuff as time has gone on. Yeah, but it's the one that I've seen, and so. For me, I watch these and I'm into it, honestly. Like, sometimes I see stuff that's like really derivative of other things, or at least what I perceive as being derivative of other things, and I'm kind of into it, because I remember in that trailer there's also this part at the beginning where they're like driving kind of like through this like swampy area, and the camera's like way overhead, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of like True Detective, and there's like police officers. I'm like into this. And so for me, for how I perceive the franchise of Resident Evil, it seems to be kind of a different direction, I guess, like a different context for it, like this kind of like backwoods, like cannibal family. And I personally am really into it, and I'm probably going to play the game when it comes out, I think in, like January? Like, sometimes around then?
I think so.
I think it's kind of cool. So, I don't know, like, I mentioned... Yeah, okay, yeah, go ahead, John.
I was just gonna say, I'm not into it.
Really?
Because I feel like it's too derivative. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
I don't know, I just, like, I appreciate a good homage, I appreciate that they want to pay tribute to the classics, but the fact that it is such a, like, it is a screenshot of Texas Chainsaw, I just think that's a bit much. Like, if I see more of that game and there's more interesting bits to it, of course, like I do like Resident Evil 4 is one of my favorite games ever. You're gonna hear me say that all the time, but I would love to see a new Resident Evil that really deviates from what that series became, which went way too far up its own ass. Yeah, but I don't know. I just hope that it is more than just. We watched True Detective and Texas Chainsaw Massacre and then added 2 plus 2 and just put 4 on a disc and shipped it to stores, Yeah,
I agree. I mean, watching those trailers, like those images that they use, like the imagery and like the way they were put together really put the hook in me, I suppose. But I would like to be reassured that it's a little bit more, but on the other hand, like I said, I'm probably still going to play it regardless. I think where
I don't blame you. Don't get me wrong.
And where the game will essentially live or die for me is if that becomes so derivative that it's what that entire game turns out to be. Like if it's just like the one scene that's like, oh yeah, this is kind of Chainsaw Massacre. Like I'm fine with that. Like I'll live through it. But as much as I would love to play Chainsaw Massacre the game with like Biohazard, I don't know how well that would come across. So I think it's just going to depend But I like it. I like that house that they have in the trailers. I think it looks like really imposing when you see it from like the outside with like the gates and all that. But I don't know. I'm into it. So
all right, fair enough.
Yeah. Horror Errors says to Video Game Choo Choo, have any of the Choochers ever been to a concert? If so, what would you say is your most memorable concert experience? And have you ever had the displeasure of going to a concert alone? Well, first of all, I've been to a handful of like concerts and music events alone, and I actually don't think it's like that horrible. I mean, I definitely prefer to go to stuff with somebody else there, but if I have to go by myself, I will. I went to I think last year near the summer, I went to go see Swans here in Austin by myself, and that was an incredible concert. I went to Austin Psych Fest a couple of years back to see Tobacco by myself, and that was pretty cool too. But the first big concert I ever went to was when I was in high school. I went to go see Muse when their album The Resistance came out, and at that time they were like my favorite band. For like several years, Muse was like my favorite band on the face of the planet, and I knew like all their songs, I knew like all the lyrics and all that. And that concert was such like an over-the-top experience, just so insane that I still remember like almost every moment of it to this day, like 7 years later. So it was pretty cool. What about you, John?
I have been to two like full-on concerts. I went to I've been to like a couple of like shows, like kind of like, you know, like I have had friends that play in bands, and it wasn't like a big concert, but I've been to two big ass concerts, and Anamanaguchi was at both of them.
Yeah.
One of them was at like a kind of like dance club bar kind of deal where it was just Anamanaguchi, and that was okay. I was a bit away from that because I didn't want to get like completely involved in like the dance, because it was like people were getting into it.
Yeah.
So you know, that was fine. I've been with friends both times, and you know, I was with a big group that time, but I was kind of once I stepped back from the dance floor, I was kind of by myself, but that was fine. But the second time was I saw Anamanaguchi and Porter Robinson, because I was covering Anime Expo last year with Mike for Destructoid.
Yeah.
And if you were a Crunchyroll Premium member, you got to go to this concert.
Nice.
That was Anamanaguchi and Porter Robinson, and I like Anamanaguchi, so that was fun, but I'm not really a fan of Porter Robinson.
Yeah, I the people I know who have heard his stuff before, their stuff or whoever's stuff, generally tends to be a little bit mixed. So
yeah, it's just I don't know. I don't know. His music's okay, but like a lot of like the imagery that he was showing was just like, I get it, dude. You have a Tumblr where you reblog like Japanese vending machines and like alt girls.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
Yeah, I understand.
I don't know. You do you, but at the same time, it's just not my. It's not my bag. I was just like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, buddy.
Yeah.
And now everyone's freaking out about his anime, and I don't really like it.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Yep, that's news to me. But anyway, moving on. Great. Anonymous said to Video Game Choo Choo, FMK, Jason, Freddie, Michael Myers. John, do you have any? So I'll go ahead and try to formulate an answer to this. I feel like I'm a little bit biased because Nightmare on Elm Street is my favorite slasher film franchise.
Sure.
So I feel like I'd marry Freddie because he's got like that kind of like sarcastic wit to him. And, you know, I know he can, like, still surprise me, like, every day. Like, maybe one day he'll be, like, a pizza, and, like, the other day he'll be, like, a killer worm. And the other day we'll go to the beach, and he'll put his, like, sunglasses on while looking directly into the camera. But, anyway, for Kill, God, I don't know. I feel like... Here's the thing. Jason and Michael Myers are both really similar in my mind. They're both, like, hulking brutes. that are silent, and you don't really get anything from them. I guess. Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like maybe I'd kill Michael Myers and then fuck Jason because he seems like he could really tear it up. Like he's like a beefcake. But I don't know. I think that's my tentative answer for this psychological conundrum. Like if you would put like Leatherface in there, or maybe like one of the clowns from Killer Clowns, and that'd be a little easier. But I feel like I feel like fuck Jason, marry Freddie, kill Michael Myers is my answer here. So
yeah, right, just in order as they gave it to you.
Yeah.
I think I'll agree with you on the kill Michael Myers just because he seems so just like milk toast in the grand scheme of things. But I'm gonna say marry Jason because he's like, I don't know. I mean, of course he's just a walking killing machine. But he'd want to make like if he were to agree to holy matrimony with me, I would think that he'd be ready to throw down at any notice. If I were ever in danger, he'd be ready to protect me.
Very true.
He'd be ready to, you brought up pizza earlier. He could slice up a pizza with that machete, and it would be delicious.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just, as long as we and hey, guess what? I hate camping, so we won't have to worry about that bothering him.
That's true.
We could just stay away from lakes and shit, and we could have a good time.
You could revel in your love of your hate of campers.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And I would say fuck Freddie because if that guy knows your nightmares, then if he's able to probe your deepest nightmares, I bet he could probe your deepest fantasies too. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you could do that thing where, like, in that really bad Nightmare on Elm Street porno, where he's got the glove, but it's like vibrators instead of like knives or whatever. So yeah.
Oh God! Finally, Freddie truly gets fingered.
Fuck off. All right, we've still got 5 more questions, so we need to get through these.
Yeah.
Anonymous says to Video Game Choo Choo, what are some good Halloween movies? And then in parentheses, for the holiday, not the series, but if they include the series, that's okay too.
Yeah, this is more for you. I mean, like the only 2 like scary movies that I really really like are Alien and Cabin in the Woods. So
both
those
good,
are my recommendations.
both good options. When I think of like Halloween movies, I think of movies that sort of capture the spirit of Halloween more than just like horror films, I guess.
Sure.
So that includes like straight up horror films, but also really like campy stuff, I think. So some stuff for me, just like firing off, Beetlejuice would be on the list. Killer Clowns from Outer Space, Halloween 1 and Halloween 3, I think. Maybe the first Nightmare on Elm Street, Trick or Treat, which is the anthology movie. I don't know. That's just kind of like some tentative stuff, I guess. You could get into like Disney Channel stuff like Halloween Town, I suppose. Hocus Pocus, I guess. I don't know. It just kind of depends on your taste, in my opinion. I used to have a list of my favorite 31 movies to watch around Halloween. Night of the Creeps is another good one. I don't know. I'll go ahead and keep moving, but those are some like tentative suggestions. Yeah, I definitely recommend the first Halloween and like Killer Clowns because that movie's a lot of fun. That's actually a really good film in my opinion, but it's very self-aware. Definitely. Anyway, Shula says to Video Game Choo Choo, was there ever a time when you had to stop playing or watching a game or movie because it was too scary? For me, yes, actually. When I watched Eraserhead for the first time, I could not finish it because it squicked me out too much. I love that movie now, and I've seen it a ton of times, but the first time I watched it, it got me like so thoroughly... like, it was just so thoroughly unpleasant that I just had to like stop. And, I guess it happens. But,
sure.
As for games... I don't really think so. The first time I played BioShock when I was a teenager, the medical ward really fucked me up because at that point in my life, that was like the scariest game I had ever played. Like I wasn't really into horror games that much before then, but I remember you go through, like, the medical ward, and there's, like, the burnt corpse, like, in the wheelchair, and there's, like, all the audio tapes and, like, the blood, and then you finally find Steinman, and he's got, like, the people, like, crucified and all that. I was like, Jesus Christ, but then, like, the rest of that game doesn't really live up to, like, the horror factor set by that first level, except maybe in the Sandra Cohen stuff, but anyway, that's all I have to say about that. What about you, John?
Well, because I know my sensibilities and I stay away from that kind of stuff, I usually don't get myself into that.
Sure.
I remember as a kid, because I would play legitimately everything that was put in front of me, I remember my dad bought a copy of Resident Evil 2 for himself to play, and he didn't, like, try to hide it or anything, but I remember I tried to play it, and I got way too scared, like, immediately, and, I never got to finish that.
Yeah.
Something on the opposite end, also Resident Evil related, I remember, and of course, again, RE4, I remember when I started playing it because, again, it was in the house, I wasn't really going to play it, but my stepdad at the time bought it for himself, and I remember I started playing it, and I was like, I gotta play it. It's a game. You love games. You can do it, John. You can do it. And I started playing that game, and I fell in love with it. And, it's my... And I just remember being like, well, now this is one of my favorite games. Congratulations, and, that was... Yeah. That was that.
I gotcha. Anonymous says to Video Game Choo Choo, cider? That's it.
Nah.
No? I like cider, so...
I mean, I guess. I like apple juice and, like, some, like, thicker stuff, I guess, is fine. I don't know.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I like cider. I like both alcoholic and non-alcoholic cider. There's a really good pumpkin cider that's been made by Ace that's out for the season that's really good, but I could drink like a bottle of like alcoholic apple cider like every day for the rest of my life, which would probably not be for very long if I did that. But anyway, Anonymous says to Video Game Choo Choo, favorite candy? John, do you have an answer?
Crunch bars. I really like that Aero, if you've ever heard of that. EERO. It's like white chocolate with nougat in it.
That sounds pretty good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are like my two. I like Crunch bars and that, and I'll eat a Kit Kat or Reese's Pieces, stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm always a big fan of anything that has chocolate and peanut butter in it. So like Reese's, those candy eyeballs you get at Halloween. That's like round things of chocolate filled with peanut butter and just all that kind of stuff. I've also been known to indulge in a Snickers from every now and then. I liked Butterfinger a lot as a kid, but now it's kind of like too hard for me to eat, I guess. Like I don't like the way it gets stuck in my teeth. Fun fact, when I was a kid, you know those things that are called like sugar daddies? That's like the caramel like on a stick?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I bit into a sugar daddy, and when I pulled it out of my mouth, there was a tooth inside of it. My tooth had gotten stuck in the caramel and just popped out like when your balls pop out of your underwear if you're not careful. But anyway, yeah, those are some things from me. Finally, our final question, and again, if you'd like to submit stuff to the podcast, you can send it to videogamechoochoo.tumblr.com/ask or podcast at videogamechoochoo.com. Anonymous says to Video Game Choo Choo, was there ever a non-horror game that scared you? Ooh. It's getting kind of philosophical, I think. I don't know, I mean, I mentioned BioShock, but that game's like quasi-horror, I guess.
That's a horror game.
Yeah.
I would go so far as to say that's a horror game.
That's fair, yeah. It's not like, like something like Silent Hill or something like that, but it's definitely got elements of it. But other than that, I don't know, it's pretty rare for me to get scared by games. I know there's stuff that's like definitely unnerved me in games. I know in BioShock 2, there's the level where you go in and there's the dude who's like mutated into like the giant monster that lives in the tube. And I was like, ooh, this is kind of like fucked up, I guess. But parts of the Witcher 3 were kind of creepy too, I think. But I don't know, scared is such a strong word for me. It's very rare for me to get, like, genuinely terrified by anything these days. Just kind of, like, creeped out, I guess. But what about you, John?
I don't know. Nothing's coming to mind, mostly because when I think scared, I think, like, startled.
Yeah.
And because of how easily I startle, I can't really think of too much, because I'm just like, I get scared of everything. If anything jumps out at you, I'm like, oh!
Yeah.
Oh. You know, so, I don't know, I can't really think of anything specific, I'm sorry.
That's okay. But yeah, that's our last question, so thank you for everybody who submitted to our very special Halloween episode this week. And, John, is there anything you want to mention, or is it time to wrap this puppy up like a king-size Hershey bar?
I mean, yeah, we're wrapping it up. There's some... Go check out the YouTube channel. We got quite a few videos. We have, some stream archives. We're gonna have even more stream archives at the time you hear this. Got the Duke Nukem. I don't know if Michael's gonna put up... I mean, it'll probably be after he comes back, but he streamed a little bit. I don't know if he's gonna want to put that up on the archive or not. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, plenty of videos. We'll probably have... Ryan, you have your editorial up on the site. Just go check out the site if it's up by the time you hear this.
I know Rose will have her Yomawari review up by the time this podcast comes out, I think.
Yeah.
So
that is the perfect game. Let's see what she says about it, but it is a horror game.
Let's say it's the perfect review for a horror game for the season.
Yes, that's right. It's the perfect review to read on Halloween. And once again, I will say, please stay safe out there, my friends, and have a good time this Halloween.
Yes, be safe.
Be safe. Go watch a scary movie if you wanna. Go dress up as something fun. Just please have a safe and happy Halloween. And we will see you next week with another episode of the Video Game Choo Choo podcast.
Thank you, Crypt Keeper John. I'm so grateful you let me into your tomb this week.
No, get out! Get out! Get out! I must rest for next year.
Nighty night, Crypt Keeper.